2021, an international conference on emerging trends in information and communication technology organized by SVVV in association with ICT. We are honored to have chairpersons Dr. K. N. Guruprasad sir and Dr. Rajiv Kumar Shukla sir with us. I feel privileged and honored to introduce brief profile of Dr. K. N. Guruprasad sir, Director SVIS SVVV Indore. Sir is having 35 years of teaching and research experience and supervised PhD thesis of 25 students and has published 90 research papers in national and international journals. Sir is a member of UGC National Assessment and Accreditation Council. A warm welcome to you, sir. It's an indeed honor for me to introduce profile of Dr. Rajiv Kumar Shukla sir, Director SVSM SVVV Indore. Sir is having a rich blend of experience in industries and academics. 10 candidates have been awarded PhD and 6 candidates are pursuing PhD under his supervision. Sir is a certified energy manager and energy auditor from Bureau of Energy Efficiency, Ministry of Power, Government of India. A warm welcome to you, sir. Now I would like to request our chairperson, Dr. K. N. Guruprasad sir, to give opening remark. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam. All the guest speakers in this conference of emerging trends in information and communication technology, Dr. Rajawat, convener of the conference, Dr. Jignasi Dubey, co-chairperson, Dr. Rajiv Shukla, heads of the department, and students and teachers. Although I'm not working in this area of information technology, I work in the area of science, and that too biological science. But this information and communication technology has been influencing every other area of academics and research for some years now. And particularly during the pandemic, we have been forced to adopt several information technology tools in order to do our work, especially in academics. This has greatly enhanced during last 1 year. I have been hearing to some of the talks in this conference where the experts are giving us an idea about what to expect in future in the development of this technology. And I just have to make one remark before our guests can take over, that as much as there have been advances in the area of information technology, simultaneously there have been new research areas emerging out of this in other areas. Like, for example, the social impact of information technology. It has tremendously changed many other areas like commerce, trading, like education, or like social behavior, and several other things. It's also causing economic upheaval all around. And I can see that if there is one technology that is going to influence our lifestyle, economy, and our psychology in future, it is going to be information technology. With these words, I welcome all our guests, and over to you, Madam.
Thank you very much, sir. Today we have 3 distinguished speakers with us to share their valuable thoughts. Our first speaker is Mr. Dalit Singh Bass from Red Hat India, and sir is going to deliver knowledge on the topic Containers and Red Hat OpenShift. It's a request to the audience to type questions in the chat box just after the session. May I request technical team to play video of Mr. Dalit sir's profile.
Mr. Dalip Singh Bais is a Red Hat certified instructor, solution architect and consultant with 12 plus years broad technical and training experience in Linux and open source technologies. Passionate about delivering solutions and training based on open source technologies, mainly Red Hat Enterprise Linux and other Unix Linux flavors. He also has past experience of working with companies like HCL and the Givalate. Mr. Bice also has several certifications like Red Hat Certified Architect, RHCA, Red Hat Certified System Administrator, RHCSA, Red Hat Certified Engineer, RHCE, Red Hat Certificate of Expertise in Hybrid Cloud Storage, EX236, Red Hat Certified System Administrator in Red Hat OpenStack, EX210, Red Hat Certificate of Expertise in Platform as a Service, EX280, Red Hat Certified Virtualization Administrator, EX318, Red Hat Certified Engineer in Red Hat OpenStack, EX310, Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA, Microsoft Certified Product Specialist, MCPS.
On behalf of SVVV fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Now, may I request to Mr. Dalip Singh, sir, to share his knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And that was really nice to know about myself also on that. It's been a long time since, I would have seen all those certifications from my side as well. Ma'am, if you could acknowledge my screen being visible to you.
Visible, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you. So good morning and warm welcome to once again to everyone. Now, I will not go about what I am or what I do, but yes, I could definitely tell that yes, I am a keen interested person in open source and open source technology, and that is one of the reasons why I am with Red Hat, because here we strongly believe that being part of open source community, we can give more back to community, right? My image also says my code is open. I'm a senior technical instructor as of now with Red Hat, delivering trainings mostly on the emerging technologies. As Guru Prasad sir was saying, yes, IT is going to take and move the direction for the entire world, whether it is in any industry or any organization for that case, primarily on automation and containerization. Yesterday, there was a talk by Dr. Reena Gupta, I think, yes, about microservices. So we have been hearing about these words, microservices, DevOps, containers, and so on. So my aim is, in very short period, what I have been given, right, to at least make you aware about the use cases, why we have moved on to, a journey where we were doing the deployments in very traditional way on bare metal machines, on virtualizations, and now we have to move towards containerization. However, we have not stopped onto that place yet. We have moved onwards from there because containers, again, cannot fulfill our need, but yes, they are the platform. They are going to give us the environment, the infrastructure on which our applications for entire microservice-based architecture, the movement towards DevOps could sustain. So what and where containers are placed and what does OpenShift give us as in terms of leveraging those containers to fulfill our need? That is going to be my aim here. Now, virtualization is one word, or I would say a technology which almost everyone is kind of aware because we have been using virtualization in some or other form. When we are students in our colleges, we use virtualization. Maybe, we use a VirtualBox, we use some small virtualization of our desktops, and we play around with it, trying our thoughts, trying the ideas that are being taught to us during our tenure there. As we move on to enterprise world, we find, yes, we have something as virtual machines. We have those monolithic box servers, which eventually are running multiple such instances within themselves. And since our use case is more towards enterprise deployment, we have high availability, fault tolerance, distributed storage, and n number of different things which are integrated into those boxes. They all club together to form a virtualized platform for us. All good. And this technology we have been using since, I would say, ages. From the time this was identified mostly by IBM, it started in Revolution and we were using it. Today also we are using it. It's an integral part of any deployment we do for anything, may it be in terms of simple organization which is going to run some basic applications, or it might be a very complex application. It might be something on AI or anything, right? Virtualization has been there for ages, and I'm sure it will be there for ages onto. But the way virtualization runs, there is definitely certain overhead, because we are trying to isolate our applications running into virtual such instances, and each instance has to be running isolated from each other because of their in number of reasons. But most commonly isolation, because I don't want to mix up my libraries between different versions of my application. Secondly, I want to also manage my state around the deployment that we have done. If something goes wrong, I want quickly to go back to my previous desired state, and that is what virtualization primarily do for us, but at a cost. The cost of duplicating our layers, creating that stack again and again. And since we are creating that stack, definitely it includes the overhead cost of my compute, overhead cost of my resources. But that's not just the case. Industry has also started moving something very primary, very basic to us, that is security. Earlier, we were having very basic infrastructures, so securing them were very easy. But now the infrastructure has become more and more complex, and day by day, as they are becoming more complexer, security has also become a buzzword. It has come there as part of DevOps, and that is the reason now we also hear a term DevSecOps. Why? Because the infrastructure became so complex. When I deploy my machines on virtualization platform or any virtualized platform, eventually I get my isolation, but I also get a very big layer, a large footprint of my operating system, which if I have to manage, it becomes difficult. On a regular basis, kind of daily, you find new vulnerabilities are identified. New vulnerabilities are being exploited by attackers to attack our system, to hack into our database and so on. So that is where security becomes very important. And that is one reason why we thought that why shall I go ahead and expose such a large footprint of my operating system, libraries of my applications, which I'm never going to use in my whole lifetime. Do I have other way that can give this independence to me, that can make my life easier? Yes, we do have something what we call as containers. When I am deploying my application on a virtualized platform, it is a complicated installation because I have to redo everything. Even if I say that, okay, I have automation, but my dear friend, to automate certain things, there would be practices you have to follow. There would be libraries you have to include. There would be modules which you have to run, right? And it's not so easy. And I also talked about overhead in terms of compute. So a simple machine, a simple commodity hardware might not fulfill my requirement. Why shall I go ahead and waste my resources if there is a solution that can take care of this whole need for me? And that solution is containerization, where I can still get the same functionality of a virtual machine, but in a very lighter manner, where my compute requirement must be very, very less compared to what I was getting or what I was looking for in virtualization. Plus, the security point which I was worried about, because there was a very big footprint of my operating system and libraries which I was including in my virtualization. In case of containerization, that becomes a very small, a very finite footprint, which allows me to actually manage it in a better manner. And that's the reason in last few years, we found that industry has started moving from virtualization towards containerization. And I would say, when I say industry, it's not just one or other industry. It's a kind of movement, uniform movement. The entire world is now moving towards containerization because of those benefits. In fact, just to give an insight that how they have started taking in, I read an article some year back or year and a half back that they even implemented container-based applications on a fighter aircraft. Imagine if they could actually go ahead and deploy such thing, which in a complicated environment like a fighter aircraft, how useful that be for a simple organization, for a simple implementation, right? So this is the reason why now we say containerization is the new virtualization. We even call it as lightweight virtualization, because the same thing which we were given to us in a very heavy environment, in a very complex environment, now it's more easier, not just to deploy, but to manage the life cycle, to take care of it over a period of time and so on. But how do we compare between them? And where is that layer of abstraction that happens between my virtualized environment and between my containerized environment. So from that point of abstraction, if I say both eventually would be running on the operating system, but in case of virtualization, we get this abstraction from those hardware. That means we are going to get your virtual components being created, and these virtual components are being mapped to your physical devices. Whereas in case of containerization, it says, I am going to keep it very simple. I'm not going to make my life or your life difficult by doing all these virtualized mapping for you. I'm just going to leverage the functionalities which are very much available from your Linux kernel, give you that isolation, and everything that you're going to run is going to be native processes on your Linux box. In case of virtualization, you were very much dependent on a hypervisor which was doing a job of mapping all those things for us. I said, no, I'm not going to do that for you. Let it be very simple so that we can manage it in a very easy way. And if you have to do some additions, you can always go ahead and do that. When it came to create those virtual machines, manage those virtual machines, start those virtual machines, there's a whole process that has to be followed. But container says, since I am simple, this startup is also going to be simple. I'm going to initialize a simple process. When you want to destroy, just delete that process, or I would say send a signal to kill that process. So from that standpoint, again, it's very simple. And if you say in terms of architecture, what is the key difference? I would again say, I'm not relying on that hypervisor to create an entire duplicated stack of your operating system, your modules, your libraries, and on top of that, you're putting your application, which is going to use a very basic compute. But just to have that stack enabled, you're wasting your resources. I don't want you to waste your resources. I'm keeping it simple. Just tell me what you need, your application. I'm going to run that only. Where you are wasting your 2 gigs of RAM or 2 CPUs, I would just hardly need maybe, 100 millicore of CPU and maybe just 10, 15 MB of your memory. I would sustain in that. I just need an engine. That engine can talk to Linux kernel. Linux kernel can go ahead, leverage all those technologies like namespaces, C groups, and so on, and your containers would be created, all good running for you. Now, if I say this, it seems pretty very easy, right? Oh, yes, this is good. He said that container is so easy. But again, it is a perception, right? I am a system administrator. If you ask me what are containers, I am, since not a developer, I might not know how to write a complex Java code. I would say, hey, this is just a platform that gives me operating system capabilities. All good. But if I go to that developer and say, my dear friend, do you know what is container? Yes, it allows me to go ahead, put my Java code, create a jar onto that, and run that Java code as an application. But what exactly is a container then? Is it an operating system, or is it a platform that allows me to do that? It actually is both. But if I go across to Linux and say, hey, my dear friend, you run a container, what it is? Linux will give a very simple answer. Nothing. It's just a process. So there has been a way how this process has been executed so that for a person, it gives an environment which has got an entire operating system layer. But on the other hand, for a developer, it provides a virtualized file system view also, where my configuration files could be distributed, where my for this case of discussion Java, where my Java could be implemented, my jar could run. How? That is the complexity. That is where our life was not so easy. Technology, as a technology, containers has been with us for a long time. It was not just 5-6 years back, but it was difficult for us to actually interact with Linux kernel onto that level and manually do everything. And that is the reason, when I talk of containers, the very first thing that comes to your mind is not containers on Linux, but Docker. Docker made our life easy, and it said, whatever you want, you tell me. I'm going to handle all of those things for you. That complexity will be taken care by me. It introduced certain libraries. It had got its own library, and these libraries were responsible to connect to Linux kernel, get your job done, and your containers were all good and running. Now, when my life is so good with Docker or with containers, then what's the problem? Why are we not satisfied? Why are we not just using containers in our production environment? Why do I say that Docker is only good for maybe a development practice, not good for an enterprise deployment? Because you do have a container, but you don't have a way to carry it along. Right? That is what I try to depict from this picture as well, right? That everything is good. My entire application has been packaged as one unit, but how do I carry it? If I have to move it from my environment of dev to QA, how do I go ahead? If I have to do my scaling, how do I go about it? If I have to talk about high availability, how do I go about it? So my containers are just good for a use case, getting my application packaged into a smaller unit. But to take care of that entire enterprise level deployment, it's not good enough in its own sense. So what do I need? I need someone to ensure that yes, my containers could be deployed somewhere, could run. I need something that can ensure that yes, containers are healthy. I need to find my containers, because what is microservice? A distributed architecture. A set of nodes in my cluster where my microservices are distributed. How would I know where my microservice A is supposed to go? How would I even know where my microservice C is supposed to talk? I need to identify where they are. I need to ensure that yes, they all run well. Access security again comes in, right? Security, I cannot forget. It's very imperative for me to talk about security. Who has access to these applications? Who can make those changes? Who can view my status and so on? And if due to certain requirements, let's say it's a festival time, more number of requests are going to come in, more number of hits are being made to my place. I want it to be scaled. I want it done manually, automatically, whatever. Get a resilient networking so that all this traffic can flow transparently. I don't have to worry about putting all those things manually in one place. On gradual basis, on daily basis, I'm going to improve my application. My entire CI/CD has to run, my development process has to run, and these will definitely need me to do my updates, do my patching. Where do I put all those, right? And definitely, I would also need to know what is the current status? How is my application faring? How is my cluster faring? Do I need to add more number of nodes and so on, right? So my requirement is not so simple. And containers, they kind of raise their hand saying, my dear friend, I'm sorry, these are my capabilities, but these are my limitations also. You have to go across to some other platform that can take care of this. So some 6 years back, industry got a platform that was Kubernetes. Kubernetes is a time-tested platform, which in fact takes care of all of these for us. It has been a platform which was used by Google for your entire mailing environment also. And this platform, once it was given back to community, it was started used by community. And that is where Red Hat OpenShift comes into picture. Since Red Hat is also a kind of organization which works very closely with the open source community, and we have everything that is open source based, so we took Kubernetes. But we also identified that yes, Kubernetes, even though it's a community based product which has got all these functionalities, features, it is not enterprise ready. That means for an enterprise deployment, a simple deployment of application management as a platform is not good enough. We need to add more things to that. We need to add so that developers can always go ahead, transparently add those applications, running those applications, and their life could be very easy, right? So that is where OpenShift as a platform was taken, which we took Kubernetes to do their orchestration, but we came up with a lot of features on top of that. And that is the reason today OpenShift is used not just for your cloud native deployments, but even if there's a case of migrating your native applications to a platform that can be orchestrated, OpenShift supports that also. When it comes for a development, it is there. When it comes for a deployment, it is there. When it comes for managing it, it is there. It allows me to build my application, manage my application, modify my application, do the updates, and all of these are kind of transparent. We don't have to manually do any of these. That is what this entire platform handles for us. We do have a capability, what we call as S2I, source to image, where earlier developer was actually worried about converting the code into an executable because the build was responsibility of the developer. And if I have got 100 developers would be responsible for doing their own builds individually. But now I said, no, I don't want that to happen. We have given you a platform, go to that platform, just tell what build you want to be done. I'm going to take care of that also. So that now your job is to focus more on writing that quality code and not worrying about the platform, not worrying about anything else. So this is a very, very brief architecture diagram of OpenShift, which says, yes, I can give you all of these functionalities. Your entire deployment can very well sustain. My application could run, and I give you an access that could very well be done from your web UI, so that I don't have to write any CLI commands. Maybe I'm not that comfortable, but I'm an administrator. I can very well use OC CLI commands. I have a binary which is available. And let's say I am going across trying to create a new console for me. Mostly banks, they are not going to expose everything out. They would try to have limited access to certain things. I could very well use the exposed REST APIs to create my own console as well on that side, right? This is a small diagram which says source to image, where I can just pass on my source. It builds internally. pushes it that to some image registry where it can definitely taken to deploy it. And same way, when there's a change in my entire deployment, it could go ahead and do that particular change as well for us. When I was trying to identify the features of OpenShift that I can, present here, it was very difficult for me to actually identify what all things I could put. The list is not just this much. It's much bigger than this. Auto scaling, as I was saying, replication. Now, I would always want that my deployment can always be scaled. But if I have to set there, if I have to set something to do that, that again is a dependency. I wanted that, my dear friend, if you have that intelligence where you can identify my workload and scale yourself, that always will be good for me. Applications should be highly available. Even if there's a failure, it should automatically get back to my state. Where do I deploy it? I have my infrastructure on AWS. Can I deploy it there? I'm a banking organization. I don't want to expose anything outside my intranet. Can I deploy it on-prem? I have some deployments on-prem. I have some deployments on some cloud. Can I do that? How do I access it? Can I integrate with some IDs? Let's say I already have a Jenkins which is running for me. Can I integrate with it? I have a code testing tool like SonarQube. Can I integrate with that? Why not? And as I said, with Red Hat, everything is open source. So it is also based on open source. The project is okd.io. The major change that happened in the industry was containerization, but it also went across to make a change in the way these containers are now packaged. So you would definitely have heard a term called operators, right? Operators is a way where we have done that automation of not just packaging, but also the way these applications are deployed, managed, updated. So we have integrated to Operator Hub where we regularly update those operators, integration to CI/CD. So we have not just stopped onto Jenkins. We have come up with new technologies, open source technology like Tekton, Service Mesh. This is a wonderful thing. I will just give you a very brief on to that in a minute. Serverless, something which came very recent. That is a technology movement even from containers, what typically you would have heard about as function as service, and a lot of other changes in that. And that is the reason now OpenShift is one place which you will find, being not just with certain set of industries, but it is found almost everywhere. Just list off some of those well-known customers so that we can have a good amount of idea there. And as I was saying, I have got a small overview of how my UI looks like. This is my OpenShift UI, which I can use to do almost everything, right? It shows that if I am a developer, I can just use this to deploy my applications, to have a view of that. And I was just talking about the service mesh also. So now see, I cannot have any better UI than this. It shows how my traffic comes in, and this would have definitely been a pain area for all the developers. If something goes wrong, how do I identify it? Where do I go to check how my traffic is faring? Now, it cannot be better than this. It shows my traffic when it comes, where it gets distributed, how it gets distributed, the amount of traffic it is getting, and so on. So all these are what? These are functionalities which have been put on top of your OpenShift as a platform. So now OpenShift gives us that platform that can be used, that can be leveraged to do almost everything. You go to automobile, you go to any place. I give you an example of that fighter jet also, right? That was F-16 by US Air Force. So it has been actually now implemented, leveraged at almost all the places. And that is where industry is moving with DevOps, with microservice-based architecture. If you want to play around with OpenShift, I just gave you 2 URLs here. You can go to learn.openshift.com where there are certain, Katagoda-based labs environment which you can go ahead play around. We also, as Red Hat, we also want to promote you so that you can go ahead and try your OpenShift expertise and knowledge, right? So developers, they can always go to developers.redhat.com where you can create a sandbox environment. This is all free for 15 days. You can go ahead and do all of these stuff onto that environment. So definitely we would want you to be encouraged onto using OpenShift. Get your hands dirty on OpenShift, get your hands dirty onto containers, and to know about technology that is emerging. So thank you, and thanks again everyone for giving me this opportunity to present my thoughts. Thank you. If you have any questions, any queries, you can let me know. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. May I request to the audience if they have any query?
Attendees requested to write their query in QA section.
So no worries. Even if you have any query that come later on, I have given my email address also. So I would be happy to answer back to you. Thank you for being such patient listeners. Thank you.
Once again, thank you very much, sir, for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Our next speaker is Mr. Akhil Hada from Global Lead MTech Tata Consultancy Services, Mumbai. Sir is going to speak about emerging trends in information and communication technology. May I request our technical team to play video of Akhil sir's profile.
Mr. Akhil Hada is a solution architect with the Tata Consultancy Services Limited, where he has worked for the past 20 years. He has worked extensively in the area of enterprise architecture, implementing simple to complex solutions using a wide range of products. Having been a business partner with IBM for over a decade, he has had the opportunity to work with a variety of IBM products and services. Mr. Akhil Hada has been an IBM champion for the past 3 years and has spoken at numerous global conferences, giving thought leadership on cutting-edge technologies. Video demonstrating how TCS helped Canon Europe boost speed to market via IBM Cloud. Video demonstration how TCS facilitates innovation with IBM Cloud PaaS solutions. Published case study highlighting IBM API Connect is used to integrate on and PFF premises solution.
On behalf of SVV fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Now may I request to Mr. Akhil Hada, sir, to share his knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Raksha. Let me know if you guys can see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Perfect. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, Chetan sir, and entire team of Vaishnav Vidyapit Vishwavidyalaya for this AVDHARAN 2021 conference and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts on the emerging trends in IT. Once again, good morning all. With that, I welcome you all to this session where I will talk about the emerging trends in IT. This is a very interesting topic. Today, every industry, startups have made good inroads or making good inroads in this area. When I say emerging trends, so for any successful digital transformation, understanding of these emerging trends are very important. And how does it benefit, or how these trends are being leveraged for a successful digital transformation? This is equally important for the young torch bearers in your university, who are the budding professionals, so that they can focus or channelize their energy in the right direction. That is what I will try to cover as we move on into this session. A very common question that we keep on getting: why are we doing such an initiative? What is the need? What are we going to achieve out of this? See, all those answers will get addressed as we move into this presentation. This session will cover different aspects of what is trending in business today and what the enterprises are thinking, and we as a TCS, how we are engaging and helping our customer, hand-holding them into this severely disrupted technical technology fray that we are seeing or witnessing in the world today. So what is happening in digital transformation, AI, ML space today? It's getting imbibed, it's getting infused, included in everything and anything that we do. So with this, let me allow me to start this session. A quick intro. I am Akhil Hada with 21 years of experience. I am working as a global lead, emerging technologies for Tata Consultancy Services. I have played gamut of roles. When I passed out from my engineering college, So when I would say when I was just like one of you, I started my career as a developer, then a module lead, tech lead, enterprise architect, and you name it. I have played all gamut of roles in these last 21 years. And one of my key focus areas is to help customer with their digital transformation journey using the cutting edge technologies, whether it is AI, ML, automation, microservices, containerization. So I actually help our customers to in that journey. With that, let me go to the next slide. Shift to experience economy. What does it mean? What we have seen or witnessing in the industry or in the world today is very different. Now everybody is moving towards the experience economy. What does experience economy means? Experience economy is nothing but people are looking out for a better experience. Like to give you an example, let's say if you want to buy a house, or you want to go for a new loan, you want to buy a new insurance, you are going abroad, you are starting a career, getting married, all those kind of things. Typically what used to happen, if I say like until 5-7 years back, this big players like LIC, like SBI, like Tatas, so these guys were very very powerful in the execution phase. When I say execution phase, you just walk into their institution or banks or anything, and then you get your things done within no time. However, with this explosion of digital technologies, they are weak in the two phases, which is a preparation phase or a support phase. When I say what do you mean by preparation phase, so there is a lot of information. There is a lot of information which goes before we take that final call. So those things, for example, we typically tend to talk to people. We tend to go into different websites and figuring out how to go about doing things. So what is happening is this preparation and support phase, these big industries are lagging behind. Wherein the millennials, like the startups and all, they are very strong in this phase. They are using the technologies in very effectively to capture this requirements or the potential customers ahead of time. Using those web crawling or I mean, you guys all are into social media, right? So now a lot of things they actually go and they can actually see your data, what is your interest, before we go and get this executed. So this has posed a very big threat to these enterprises. Now that is why what is happening is like the traditionally what used to happen and now what is happening is very different. So now that is what we are trying to say here is the world is moving towards from the experience, from products and services to life events like starting a career, getting married, buying a house, starting a family, going abroad, buying a new car. So what happens is like there are a lot of things which is like the trends have changed, the mindset have changed of the users who are actually hitting it. A classic example I can give for this is a very classic example which you have heard before. Consider an example of Uber. Uber being the largest car rental company in the world, when they started this, they did not even have a single car. They did not own a single car. They used technology for their benefit and create one of the largest car rental companies in the world. Airbnb, they don't own a single hotel, but it's the biggest hotel industry in the world. How did they do it? They have used technology. They have understood how this technology can benefit or disrupt the industry. So these are the ways, this is what is happening today. A traditional world is moving towards more experienced economy. This is what I'm trying to tell you here. Now, what are those emerging technologies? When we are talking about moving to the experience economy, what are those emerging trends or emerging technologies that helps us in doing this digital transformation? As we move along, you will see a lot of these technologies getting imbibed into your business process and would transform. When I say transformation, it's a quite a broad term. It could mean impacting your different organization KPIs that has been set up. It could mean the improving market timeline. It could be improving your overall speed of operations. it could be the way you offer personalization to your end customers, and innumerable such things which accounts as part of digital transformation. Underlying you see these are 7 colors of rainbow, which represent 7 different technologies, and which forms the key portfolio for digital transformation. You pick up any, cyber security, a classic case. Now because the data is in abundance, now there is remote working, which is very prevalent in the since last couple of years. So cyber security has become a very upcoming field. With the data, with new channels, obviously there is a threat. There is no organization, I would say, who is not witnessing or they are not getting cyber security attacks. So this is a very prominent, I would say, field that is actually happening today. Second, you pick up distributed cloud. What is distributed cloud? Distributed cloud is nothing but where your cloud is geographically spread. It has a geographically dispersed infrastructure that primarily runs on the network edge. Why do we have a distributed cloud? Typically, I'll give you a simple example. If you're trying to browse something, and if you're not getting this page loaded, right, because of the latency issue, then it defeats the purpose. So using distributed cloud, because you will be having this distributed cloud near to the near location, so then the latency is very well managed. Anywhere operation, classic case, we all are working from home. That has and how this anywhere operations is enabled using all these latest digital trends, whether it is cloud, whether our friend Mr. Bass has talked about, like, Red Hat has been spearheading a lot in this area. The containerization, cloud, microservices, how do we handle cyber security? So that is all included when we are talking about anywhere operations. Internet of behaviors, I would say it's a very interesting but equally controversial field. Like, I guess you all of each one of us are going through this internet of behavior kind of a scenario in our day-to-day life. You go to Facebook, you watch a video, and then the next moment you log into Facebook again, you see the similar kind of interest being thrown on the screen to you. What does it do? What is it doing? They have used the technology to understand your interest, and then they are using the same technology to convince or influence their customer. So this is a very interesting field, as well as very controversial trend, which will have a large debate as we move along. Embedded devices, this handheld devices, your smartwatches, a lot of things which is going in those devices. These devices are becoming more and more prevalent and very upcoming in this thing. Now the latest Apple Watch has a SpO2 monitor, ECG monitor. It's kind of acting like a mini doctor today. Immersive experience, AR, VR, whatever you talk about, actually, everything falls under that kitty. In the middle, you see AI. What is AI? AI can run on other data sets, whether it is structured or unstructured, or it can run on any of these streams that I just discussed about, whether it is cyber security, whether it is distributed cloud, embedded devices, etc. You see on the top is 5G. What is 5G? With 5G coming in, we are going to see a humongous surge in the volume of data and speed of data, because there are so many channels which is coming today in the market. We need a very high speed to process this data in milliseconds or microseconds. However, this has been held up due to the current pandemic situation, but in the coming quarters, you will see a big boom as we move along into this 5G race everywhere in the world. I would also like to touch upon the current trends, in AI. So we talk about the trends, but let's see how other leaders, how Gartners, Forresters, who are the leaders in, like, they do this analysis ahead of time. What are they talking about? If you look on the right-hand side, what is there in CIO's agenda? If you look into the right-hand side, every CIO, whether it is CXO, whether it is CHRO, CXO, CTO, everybody is talking about AI. If you look at the line item 2, for example, data and analytics, point number 2, including predictive analytics, it itself is AI. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you sum them up, you will see AI is on top of the mind of 63% of CIO's agenda. So if we are doing something, if we are talking about a digital transformation, and if we do not have AI in it, that will not be accepted. This is what the Gartners and Forresters of the world are saying. So since you all students, you are heading into your professional journey at some point in time, I wanted to touch upon this one so that you can also, if you have a confusion which one to pick up, because there are so many areas, this is one of the things you can probably think of picking it up as your career choice. And on the left hand side, you see this Gartner hype cycle. So it is an exclusive hype cycle for AI. You see, there are a lot of technologies, AI, NL, AI related technologies, this NLP, chatbots, AutoML, and all of that. There are so many technologies which were there, which were just identified a couple of years back. However, now we are seeing they are getting infused or implemented, in every solution that we are talking about. So there is a huge potential of AI in everything that we do today. Gartner has predicted there is a $98 billion business on AI. So you just imagine if let's say, some of you think of starting their own company, a startup, there is a huge potential. Even if we get a small fraction of what the potential of in this AI field, we will be in a different place altogether. So when we talk about trends, we talk about what is there in CIO's agenda, and let me talk about what are the top trends of AI. We talked about trends of top 7 trends in the industry. Now I'm trying to go a level down. I want to talk about the top trends in AI. As we said, digital transformation is pervasive. It is there everywhere. Everybody is talking about it. So first point, which is critical component of digital transformation initiative. Yes, AI has become a component which is pervasive in every digital transformation initiative that we do, that we talk about. Anything and everything that you build has AI in some or other form. It is getting embedded. When I say it is getting embedded, it is getting embedded within your business processes, within your hardware, software, edge devices, solutions. So you take an example, if you're using the latest phone, the chip inside your phone has AI in it. If you're using a smartwatch, it has some or other components of AI in it. So whatever we do, it has AI in some or other form. And then what is happening is there is a huge buildup of technology and partner ecosystems in this area. What is happening is there are small companies, there are big companies. They have come up with lots of their solutions, and then these solutions are being implemented, are being I would say introduced into the market at a very, very fast pace. So there is if you're looking out for a specific solution, you will see tons of choices today. So there is a huge buildup of this I would say technology and partner ecosystems in this field. Similarly, if you see, I'm going to point number 5. If you see, when we as TCS AI team, we started working on AI a few years back, around 4 or 5 years back. That time AI was predominantly limited to chatbots. Whenever people talk about AI, they say, I want a conversational chatbot. It was kind of addressing your FAQ question or kind of addressing your help desk queries. However, if you see, in the last 3-4 years, this thing has evolved multifolds. Now chatbot is just not limited to a standard answering machine, I would say, auto answering machine. It has been extended to do integration with your CRM systems, with your supply chain, and the chatbot can be used for placing the order, checking the order, and you name it. It can be integrated with anything. So chatbots has become kind of a salt in the food. So this is the another top change, I would say, one of the top I would say progress that we have seen over this year on chatbots. Now we see, you must be hearing a lot about virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality. Whenever you hear such a term, you just conclude that they're talking about AI. Because any of these terms or any of these trends that people talk about, if it doesn't have AI in it, it cannot succeed. On the right hand side, I'm trying to in a very, very layman term, I would like to explain what is AI. Artificial intelligence aids human action. What does it mean? To aid human action, you need artificial intelligence. And one of the way to implement artificial intelligence is through machine learning. And why do we use machine learning? We use machine learning to predict outcome. And for implementing machine learning, there are two broad ways, I would say. It's not the only two ways, two broad ways. One is probabilistic modeling, which leverages statistical models. And the another one is deep learning, which leverages neural networks. What are the difference between these two? In a very simplistic way, if you are working on a data set which is more structured, like row and column kind of a data set that you have, then you will be using probabilistic modeling. If you are working with unstructured text or unstructured data, for example, text, image, video, etc., then you will have to use deep learning. Though this chart is simple, but with my experience, a lot of people are still confused about what do we mean, what is AI, what does it mean. So if you guys can actually understand these basics, I can guarantee you are among the top half of the pyramid. A lot of people are still confused and they don't know what AI actually stands for, what it is. So now we talked about a lot of good things, what are the market trends, what CIOs are saying, what Gartners are saying, what trends TCS see. But when you see good things, there are always challenges associated with it. So I would like to quickly highlight the challenges as well as we go along. So these are the challenges that we are witnessing. It is not something that we have just taken up from anywhere, but these are the challenges that we are witnessing in our day-to-day work when we do any AI ML work today. What happens is, like, see, this AI ML explosion has led to it's a steep learning curve. And what happens is, like, the people who started their career with a completely different mindset, it requires a learning curve to get used to this technology, to understand and start implementing this. But once they are through it, there is no stopping. Point number 2, but before point number 2, let me talk about point number 5, which is data availability and quality. See, for implementing any AI ML solution, one of the most important thing is the availability of data. When I say availability, it's just not any data availability. If somebody gives me some data which is of no use, wherein, like, the machine model cannot be trained, it is of no use. So that is why the quality of data is also very, very important. And though we say the data is available in abundance, but getting this data from the customer or to build any AI solution, a quality data is very important, and we are facing a lot of challenges with it. Point number 3, identification of appropriate and targeted use cases. Again, I'll reiterate, I said, like, more than 50% of the people are still confused with AI. I come across requirement where they say, I want to give you an example, they say, I want to build anything and everything using AI. I want to build a car using AI, for example. But car is an end product. It has, like, maybe 1,000 small use cases implemented underneath it. We have to identify a proper use case for AI, which is also a very big challenge. And this is complemented by point number 4, right? Customer education and orientation. We have to have a right set of training, right set of orientation, right set of hand holding done, which is also a very big challenge. And then coming back to another very important point, which is point number 2, retuning mindset to exploratory nature of initiative. See, what we have been doing for the past 2 decades, I would say, customer or anybody, we start our development with some set of requirements. We do the requirements, we package the product, and we just deploy. However, in the AI/ML space, the things doesn't work that way. There is a lot of back and to and fro on this initiative. What happens? You got the requirement, you got the data, you created the model. However, you might see the model is not giving you the level of accuracy that is needed. Then we go and tune the model. So there is a lot of to and fro when we are kind of building such AI models. So, and there has to be a mindset change. It is not like once you have built it once and then we just go and deploy. So this is some of the top challenges in AI and ML we are seeing today. I will quickly touch upon how we as a TCS, are trying to address this. So what TCS has done is, we talked about, use I would say cloud technologies, use AI/ML, but realizing those things in real life is not so easy. So what TCS as a company has done, we have reimagined ourselves, and we have come up with our new model called Business 4.0. What does it do? So Business 4.0 is nothing but we want to use these emerging trends and technologies into the customer business problems. And what are those four key pillars where TCS is helping their customers is driving mass personalization, creating exponential value, embracing risk, leveraging ecosystems. I'll just take a minute to explain all of this. Mass personalization. So we talked about it, right? Now mass personalization has become a part and parcel of whatever we do. Now it's no longer like, depending on your interest, internet of behaviors that I just talked about in the beginning. Depending on the personalized interest, the technologies are helping all the organization and industries to show relevant results depending on our choices. That is what, and then how do we use technology to drive this mass personalization? This is what we typically do. Creating exponential value, So now we have a lot of things like every company, every industry, even if you consider an example of your college, take an example wherein you have lots of data with you, but if you have to create the value out of that data, what you do is you take something which is your IP and maybe use something which is available on cloud. For example, use AI/ML services on cloud, use some AR/VR services on cloud, and create a solution or an idea which can generate exponential value. Again, the classic case is Uber and Airbnb's kind of thing. What are they doing? Anything you see, Swiggy, what are they doing? They have nothing. What they are doing is they just are leveraging the APIs, the cloud services that they have, and that they are actually disrupting every industry today, which was flourishing until some time back. Embracing risk, it's a very important topic. Whenever we have to innovate something, there is a risk associated with it. How do we embrace those risks? Now with the agile and cloud approach, as we have seen in the Red Hat session, with these microservices, agile DevOps kind of technologies in place, we can quickly build something, see whether it is working, whether it is realizing the benefit what we had envisaged for, and then just move on. And if it is not giving us the value, we can scrap it. We call it as a fail fast approach. However, that has been enabled using the current latest technologies that we have seen, whether it is cloud, it's a combination of cloud, agile, DevOps, and things like that. Leveraging ecosystems. Take any industry. What we are saying is every industry has a very sophisticated set of systems, but what we are witnessing is they are not using the true potential of those systems. When I say true potential, for example, consider any FMCG industry. What is happening is today they are only talking about a very specific product. They are taking a very specific product to to the consumer. However, the associate services related to the product is not being properly leveraged. So we have to think from a larger perspective and use the larger gamut of things what any enterprise has. So this is what I would like to quickly touch upon. I think I have overshot by 2 minutes. I'm sorry about that, but I can quickly take the questions from you guys.
Thank you very much, sir. Audience can type their questions in the question answer box.
After this session, please feel free to share it with me. I would love to answer. And it is very exciting because
Sir,
over this for a very long time, right? So whenever I get an opportunity to interact with students, I actually kind of go into the state 20 years back when I used to be on the other side of the table. So this is very interesting. Thank you very much, guys. Any questions, anything that you have, please feel free to share it with me.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. Our next speaker is Mr. Shibu MV, Techno Commercial Manager from Reddington India Limited. Sir is going to share his knowledge on the topic Introduction of Swift Coding and Apple Mobile App Development. May I request our technical team to play video of Shibu sir's profile.
Mr. Shibu MV is an electrical engineer, Apple certified professional and skilled pre-sales manager with over 20 years of experience in business development, training and pre-sales activities of Apple and other IT products and solutions in the enterprise and education segment.
On behalf of SVV fraternity, a warm welcome to you, sir. Now, may I request to Mr. Shibu to share his knowledge with us. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, madam. Let me just share my screen. Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon. It's actually so. I'm Shibu from Reddington India Limited, Apple Mobility Group, Bangalore. So today we will be discussing about app development with Swift and the possibilities for the students, especially computer science or information science or any major students of any major, maybe from mechanical, civil, or any major or electrical. How you can leverage on this skill set of app development using Swift. And we will be covering these points. We will also try to demonstrate how to create a simple mobile app using Xcode and Swift programming language in few minutes. And I think then we will touch upon the Swift curriculum that is available. And finally, we'll talk about some of the latest technology available in the Mac environment, we have a M1 chip. We will discuss about the M1 chip also. Fine, we'll start. So this session will take around 40-45 minutes. If you have any question, please put it in the chat. We'll try to answer it later. So why mobile app development? When you teach coding, you are not only teaching the language of technology, you are also teaching new ways to think and bring ideas to life. We believe every student should have the opportunity to create something that can change the world. We could not agree more with the World Economic Forum that creativity, critical thinking, analysis, active learning, leadership, social influence, and emotional intelligence are going to be critical skills for the future workforce. And these emerging skills are at the center of new roles that will be needed in the workplace. And these new roles or the new designations you can see rely on people with these new skills. As you are aware, many of these roles did not exist even 10 years ago. As mobility has become a key priority in virtually every industry and sector you can think of, the need for skilled software developers has also drastically increased. As per Tech Republic, nearly 250,000 job openings for software developers will be created over the next 6 years in the US alone. And with 100% of Fortune 500 companies deploying iOS devices across their workforce, and 93% of those deploying in-house development, app developers have never been more in demand. Today's app industry is a marketplace of innovation and creativity. It's a demonstration of the way we solve problems today that defines the type of jobs for tomorrow. But it's not just about jobs. It's about the essential skills students need to succeed in the new code-driven world, no matter what career they pursue. When students learn how to code, they are learning creativity, collaboration, and problem-solving techniques. Coding unlocks creativity as students learn new ways to approach problems and develop their ideas. Coding is often done in teams as a collaboration. Students work together to solve coding challenges, which requires them to consider multiple options and points of view. Through coding, students also develop problem-solving skills. They gain experience breaking big problems down into smaller parts. They need to test, debug, and try again, which help them persist through difficult challenges. The need for students to develop the knowledge and skills necessary to become the next generation of problem solvers, as well as the opportunities for them to showcase these ideas, is critical. Now, Apple, with over 40 years experience in education, Apple is committed to supporting teachers and students. And because we believe so deeply about opportunities learning to code unlocks, we have designed a curriculum that enables anyone to learn, write, and teach Swift programming language and coding using Swift. So we will be discussing more about the Swift curriculum in the coming slides. Now, iOS. Why Apple iOS is such a great choice for business? First, iOS is the world's most advanced mobile operating system that powers iPhone. The hardware and software is highly integrated that allows you to create best possible user experience, because here Apple makes the hardware operating system, many applications, even the software development environment is also from Apple. And deployment is simple and scalable and provides comprehensive management options, which means that if a corporate or an educational organization want to deploy hundreds or thousands of devices like iPad or iPhone or Mac machines, you can do it. IT department can do that without even touching the device. And you can even secure those devices. So we support this zero-touch deployment. This is another reason why business people love our device. So finally, this is the best platform for apps. Now, security. Our security security presentation itself is a 1-hour presentation, so we are not going to deeper into that. So all I can tell you is we have 3 levels of security. We have system level, data level, and app level security. By the way, our operating system, iOS or Mac OS, everything, all are based on Unix. Unix itself is known for security. So here we have system level, data level, and app level security. To know more about our security, platform security of Apple, please visit apple.com/security. Now, OS update. Since Apple makes the hardware and operating system, OS update is very simple. Anyone can just connect their device, Apple device, to the Wi-Fi and enable automatic software update. It will keep updating your software as and when a new update comes. Now, why the software updates are important? Because each and every software update comes with a lot of security fixes and new features, especially security fixes and performance improvement. And software upgrades. Upgrades means from iOS 13 to iOS 14, that is an upgrade. Software upgrades comes with a lot of new feature. Now, we have a track record of supporting, even if you have a 5-year-old Apple device, you can upgrade to the latest version of Apple operating system, whether it is iOS or iPad OS or even Mac OS. So this is a huge benefit for the developer. Why it is important for developer? If you want to give the best end user experience to your customers, your end user should be running the latest version of operating system. And if you see this fragmentation level, so in the left-hand side, you can see the iOS device, Apple iOS device, majority of them are running the latest version of operating system. So in the right-hand side, you can see the Android. Android is highly fragmented. The problem here is, if you are a developer, you want to fine-tune your application towards all these devices, Android devices, you end up spending a lot of time. It's a Herculean task actually, because there are multiple versions of operating system and thousands of different manufacturers. So here, on the left-hand side, you can see Apple only one version of operating system and few devices. So developers always love to be in this space because you are in control. It's very easy to give a best user experience. The device, the fragmentation is less. Now, I would like to share a video featuring one of our customers that has transformed the way they work by going mobile with iOS. So this is SKF.
You have to have the creativity. You have to open your mind and see what's the pain point and how we can make our processes more efficient through mobility. And that is very important for a global manufacturing company like SKF.
You don't think of it, but you have bearings in almost everything. Bicycles, cars, trains, airplanes, everywhere. They're everywhere.
In SKF IT, our job is to provide value to our employees, especially in the factories, because that's our core business. The most exciting part is to take a complex process from PC to a simple mobile app. We use the combination of the backend and integration from SAP and the user experience from Apple that we never could have done before. Previously, the system was complex for the operators, but now with iPhone, it's more efficient, eliminating errors in the production channel from 20% to 0.
To see the next type of bearing you're supposed to assemble, in 30 seconds you can look at it on the phone and you're on the way. As an operator, you shouldn't have to learn the whole SAP system because the app does the work for you. A single swipe or a single tap allows me to do much more than before. We have everything in here.
Innovation is to convert an idea to a product or solution that brings value to someone and makes a difference. The development of iOS apps enable us to be more mobile, more efficient, improving our processes to be the best in the market. That's innovation for me.
Fine. So it's all about app development. So once you get this kind of knowledge on the skill set on Swift and app development using iOS, you will be able to provide solution to all these kind of organization who requires in-house apps. So if you have a brilliant idea and you know the skill set of this app development, you can create an amazing app and put it in the app store. You can create multiple apps and put it in the app store. People will buy, they will download it, and you will get paid based on the number of download happens and based on the cost, what you decide for your app. Let us see how much money is involved. So as I discussed earlier before, let me explain the context here. As students, you have opportunity to create your own organization, your own business, your own startup you can create. You can even employ others. You can start your app development organization, or you can also go and work. You will get a quality employability. You will get a quality job. These are the two options if you learn this technology. So let us see how much money is involved. So if you develop an app and put it in the App Store, we have more than 1 billion people in the App Store to purchase your app. So these 1 billion people are already put their credit card information, everything, and they're ready to buy your app on a single tap. Worldwide customer. This is not only India, it's worldwide customer. So these are your customers. So based on the download happens or the sale happen, let me say, put it in that way, you will get paid on a monthly basis. So let us see how much Apple has paid to the developers. It is $155 billion they paid to the developers since the inception of the App Store. It's huge. It's huge. So this is one opportunity. And if you're looking for a job, you will get a better job. If you know this iOS development skill set, you'll get better paid compared to any other platform knowledge. So let me just go to the Swift now. Introduction to Swift. Swift is a powerful and intuitive programming language that is easy to learn and powerful to use. Swift is a great tool for teaching and learning code. Teaching code with Swift makes programming easier, more flexible, and more fun. And Swift is easy to use, powerful, and open source. It has a clean syntax, which means it has far less prone to mistakes, especially by those learning their first programming language. And it uses lots of everyday words and phrases you already know, such as print, add, and remove. Powerful features of Swift allows you to build the most advanced software you can imagine. And the fact that Swift is open source means anyone can contribute to the code through the developer community at swift.org. Despite being a relatively new programming language, Swift is used by many of the top developers in the world. With over 1.8 million apps on the App Store, Swift is powerful enough to build and run these apps and many more. Swift is also well liked by professional developers. It has ranked in the top 10 most loved programming languages in a 2020-year survey of developers worldwide. Now let me introduce Xcode. Xcode is Apple's integrated development environment, or IDE. You will be using Xcode to build apps for Apple products, including iPad, iPhone, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and the Mac machine. Xcode provides tools to manage your entire development workflow, from creating your app to testing, optimizing, and submitting it to the App Store. Xcode is free to download directly from the Mac App Store. And if you want to be in the Apple developer environment or the community, you need to have Xcode, and ultimately you need to have a Mac. There may be other virtual platforms allows you to do app development in Apple devices, but if you have Xcode and if you have a Mac, that is the best choice. So let me just show you a short video from Apple about Swift introduction. Yeah, this introduction to Swift.
Xcode. Now, Xcode is the tool set we use to build all applications for the Mac and iOS. And Xcode is in fact one of the most popular pro apps on our platform. The last version was downloaded 14 million times. It's unbelievable. Now, of course, central to Xcode is the language we use to develop our apps, Objective-C. Now, Objective-C has served us so well for 20 years. We absolutely love it. But we had to ask ourselves the question, what would it be like if we had Objective-C without the baggage of C? We did more than think about it. We have a new programming language. The language is called Swift, and it totally rules. Swift is fast, it is modern, it is designed for safety, and it enables a level of interactivity and development that you've never seen on the platform. When it comes to speed, Swift is great. Compare Python, a popular scripting language, with Objective-C when it comes to something like, let's say, complex object sort. Objective-C is a lot faster, but Swift is faster still. And take something like RC4 encryption, extremely computationally intensive. Python gets utterly crushed in this particular benchmark. But look at Swift. Now, Swift is also modern with features like closures, generics, type inference, multiple return types, and namespaces. You know how many people at home are going, what in the heck are these guys talking about? With Swift, you're able to reduce a common pattern that you might see in your Objective-C code like this and reduce it to something as simple as this. And Swift defines away large classes of common programming errors. They just aren't possible. Now, Swift is completely native to Cocoa and Cocoa Touch. It's built with the same LLVM compiler as Objective-C, using the same optimizer and auto vectorizer, and it has the same ARC memory management model and the same runtime, which means that your Swift code can fit right alongside your Objective-C and your C code in the same application.
So now, how to become a developer? Apple has invested in the developer's success. The Apple Developer Program provides you with a robust set of tools, compilers, languages, APIs, and SDKs. So everyone has an opportunity to create innovative apps. To get started immediately and get access to all of these, simply register as an app developer free of cost from any device. You can register. You need to go to developer.apple.com. So this registration is free. Let me also introduce you to the App Accelerator Center in Bangalore. This is directly by the Apple team. So the App Accelerator Center in Bangalore has helped thousands of developers build great app experiences across our platforms. So now the App Accelerator will help you fast track your apps, so you can become part of this thriving app economy. You face any challenges in putting the app in the App Store or submitting the app to the App Store, or you need some guidance how to fine-tune your app, things like that, you can be in touch with them. You will have access to the App Accelerator once you become a developer, and you can see the view schedule. You will be able to participate all their conferences free of cost, because it was free even before the pandemic. Even now it is free. You can participate now online. So that is another benefit. They have an accelerator center in Bangalore, in India. So now Apple conducts this WWDC. I hope you're aware. If you're not aware, Apple Worldwide Developer Conference. It's an IT conference held by Apple annually. So please visit this link, apple.com/apple-events. Day after tomorrow, there's an event at night, 10 o'clock, at 10:30. Please participate. Please view that. You will be having access to, once you become a developer, you will even have access to the conferences. There are so many conferences which will happen on technology like machine learning, artificial intelligence, and about Swift, coding, everything. So this is just, it is happening day after tomorrow. That's why I have included this slide. Now we'll go to the demo now. I'll try to demonstrate creating a simple mobile app using Xcode and Swift. So let me come out of the presentation. This is my macOS desktop. The bottom of the screen, you can see the dock. So here Xcode is there. So when I click on Xcode, the top menu bar changes. So this is dynamic menu bar. I'll just go to the Xcode menu, go to the file, and click on new project. So I am using a MacBook Air, the old MacBook Air Intel based. Nowadays, we have the MacBook Air with M1 chip. M1 is from Apple. M1 processor is from Apple. That is much faster, but I am using an older one. Even if you have an old MacBook Air or any Mac, you can use to do this programming and learning and all. But the professionals, they use MacBook Pros. Those machines are much faster. So let us see. So I'll just show you, since I said that, what machine I am using. Let me go to the Apple icon. About this Mac, I'll show you. This is what the machine I'm using. I'm running the latest operating system called macOS Big Sur. And this is the MacBook Air 2019 model. I'm using it. Okay, just for your information. So, okay, fine. So we are going to create a simple app. There are multiple options. I can create a iOS. iOS means, for iPad or iPhone. macOS, watchOS, or tvOS. So I'll select iOS and go to the app. See, you can also create augmented reality app. Our devices are the best for augmented reality. So anyway, we are not going to test that now. We will just create a simple mobile app, select and click next. We will give a name, my first app. You can give any name. See here, you can even use Objective-C, but the whole idea is to know how Swift works. So I'll select Swift programming language, click on next. Save it on the desktop. I mean, it will create a folder. If the folder is already there, okay. I think first tab, I changed the spelling. That's okay. First tab, the spelling is gone wrong. It is F5. Okay. No problem. Let it be like that only. Doesn't matter. So this is the main screen of Xcode. The left-hand side, what you see is the file navigator. Here I can see the file, like view controller.swift file. This is the place where we edit the code. We'll write the code, and there is main storyboard. This main storyboard. See, you can choose the device you want for the storyboard. So here is a selection menu available for the storyboard. I'll select iPhone 12 Pro Max for my storyboard. You can choose any Apple device here. And now I need to add a button on the storyboard. To do that, click on the plus icon at the right-hand side top. So see, you can see all the objects which you can add on this. All I need is a button. Select the button, drag and drop. Just increase the size of this button. Yes. Now, this right-hand side is the utilities area or inspector area where I can change the parameters of this button. I can increase, for example, I can increase the font size. I can go down and change the background color. So whichever color you want, you can choose. I'll just select gray color. So that storyboard is complete. So let me just toggle this off by clicking this button here. Yeah, I'll get space. Now I need to see this storyboard and view controller.swift file together. To do that, I need to go to the editor. I can't see that. Yeah, I went to the editor and click on assistant. So both the windows are visible, view controller.swift file and the storyboard is visible now. Now, before we start writing the code, I need to make a connection between these two, this button and this code. To do that, control click and drag a line between these two brackets and the button and release your hand. So you will get this dialog box. Give a name, my button, any name you can give, and click on connect. So the connection has been made. Now, one more thing. See, I'm going to use simulator now. This is the simulator screen in simulator selection menu. Here also I'll select iPhone 12 Pro. I think I'll select iPhone 12 Pro Max. Yeah. So if you have an iPhone directly, you can connect. Even if you don't have iPhone or iPad, still you can use simulator. That is available on Xcode. Fine. So now we will start writing the code. Let me just rearrange the space. So we'll get more space. Okay. So this is the place we are going to write code. So my first line here, VAR, color is green equals, the color is green is my identifier in this case. So I'll just come down here now. We are going to complete it in a minute. Please see that. I'm going to write only 5 or 6 lines. Second line, if color is green, you see the autocomplete will help you. The bracket. View dot background color equals UI color dot purple. I selected purple for this. And third line, fourth line, color is green equals house. Now I'll just come down, else view dot background color equals UI color dot green. I select green. Now last line, color is green equals true. Those who know the coding, you might have got the idea what this app is going to do. Fine. So this is Swift. It is very simple. And let me do the testing. To do the testing, left-hand side top, there is a play button. I'm going to click on the play button. I mean, that is run. To run the code, you can see the status bar at the top. You can see the status here. So it is creating the app, building the app. See, the moment it build, simulator will start. Simulator automatically started. You can see this is the simulator. Already an app is open, so we are waiting for the button to appear. So it will take few seconds because I'm using a MacBook Air, older one. If you use a powerful machine, this actions will be faster. Yeah, it is up. It's up. You can see the button now. So I'm going to click on this button. Let us see what happens. See, the background changes. Background color changes to green. Click again. It will go to purple. Okay, this is the app. Just now we created a simple app. Keep clicking. The background color keep changing. Now, let us change the color. Instead of purple, let the simulator be here only. Let me just resize it so that you can see both. Yeah. So instead of purple here, I'll just put blue, or it is saying system blue. Let us see what is system blue. Now let me run the code again. It is asking to replace. Yes, replace. So please keep watching. The second app, yeah, this is the app. It opens automatically. Yeah, let me just click now. Now it is green. Click once again. Now it is system blue. So that's how easy it is to create app using Swift and Xcode. Fine. We'll just go back to the presentation. That was a quick demo. So we use Keynote for presentation, probably the best presentation tool. Yeah. So we've done the demo. Now we'll go to the Swift curriculum and Apple Authorized Training Center for Education. So this Swift curriculum and the complete digital books are free to download on any Apple device. You have to have an application called Apple Books. Earlier it was known as iBooks. Now it is called Apple Books. So all these books are available in the Apple Books application. So the completely redesigned, developed in Swift curriculum emphasizes app development as a way to solve real world challenges, creatively with Swift. So let us take a look at the resources available now. The Develop in Swift curriculum provides students a practical way to explore designing and building a fully functional app of their own. See, these are all books available. So let us just jump to the higher education pathway curriculum. For example, the Develop in Swift Explorations. So this is the first course. This course is designed to help students learn key computing concepts, building a solid foundation in programming with Swift. Okay, let's see the next one. Develop in Swift Fundamentals. In this course, you will build fundamental iOS app development skills with Swift. You will also master the core concepts and practices that Swift programmers use every day and build a basic fluency in Xcode's source and UI editors. So students will be able to create iOS apps that adhere to the standard practices, including the use of stock UI elements and layout. So the third one, Develop in Swift Data Collections. In this course, students will expand the knowledge and skills they developed in fundamentals by extending their work with iOS app development and creating more complex and capable apps. So let me just come out of the presentation and show you how these books work. This is the application if you are using a Mac. So see, I just opened the Books app. This is one of the book. Let me go to the... See, compared to PDF, this is the first book which I have shown now. I'll go to the introduction. Okay. So this book is having text, images, and even download links are there. You can see the download links. And let me go expand it. Okay. I'm in the book now. So you can see the lesson. You can see text, images, even videos, and quiz. You can see quiz within this. See the quiz? It's a quiz. I'm not going to answer it. So this is the quiz. You can have quiz within it on a PDF format. You cannot have all these. So that's why we use our own format called iBooks format. And even videos are there. Let me see if any video is there. There are videos. So videos are there, then download links are there. See how to create a first app. All these things are given. So this is our book is different from book format is different from PDF. You will have text. See, so there is a video. I'm going to click on the video within the book. It's not me, it's a video playing inside the book. Okay. My cursor is here. So this is the beauty of iBooks format. You will get the best quality digital books free of cost in this. Only thing, you need to have some Apple device. It cannot be downloaded onto any other device. Some Apple device. It can be iPod, Touch, or even iPhone, iPad, or a Mac machine. Fine. Let me just go back to the presentation. So that is how our book looks. So all these books are many more other books are free in the bookstore. So many other books are also there in various other subjects. So you can download. Currently in India, all the books are free. Or let me put it in the other way, only free books are available in Indian store. But if you go to the US store and other countries store, you will find a lot of paid books as well in other subjects. By the way, all the Swift books are free. You don't need to pay a single rupee. Now, come to the Apple Authorized Training Center for Education. An Apple Authorized Training Center for Education, or AATCE, is a facility authorized by Apple to deliver Apple certification training classes to students and even faculty members using Apple Certified Trainers, or ACTs. So these courses are available online. Just now you have seen all the development courses are available online free of cost for anyone to download and use. So why would you want to become an Apple Authorized Training Center for Education? So what are the benefits? First of all, Apple recognizes those colleges that commit and invest in teaching Apple technology to their students. So you can use Apple's proven app development with Swift content curriculum and take your IT programs to the next level by offering high quality training and even certification. So you can offer your students certification on Swift through Certiport. Student no need to go outside of the college, any prometric center or anything. Once you become ATCE, students can take the certification exam there only, and they can get the internationally recognized certification within the college itself. And Apple will provide training for your teachers to upskill them before they attend the T3 class. T3 is train the trainer. Train the trainer class with Apple. Once you pass that train the trainer, you will become a T3 certified trainer. So Apple Authorized Training Center for Education benefits from a range of marketing materials supplied by Apple for use inside and outside their facilities. They also receive marketing guidelines and recommendations developed specifically for AATCE. And Institute will get a recognition as AATCE's join an exclusive network of institutions who have demonstrated their quality to Apple. Now, I think on this entire session, I got invitation through our partner Aegis Infotech in Indore. They already have expertise in implementing this ATC. So more details about Apple Authorized Training Center, they will be coming and telling you how to go ahead with the ATC if you're interested in this. So these are the requirements. You need a certified trainers, and the certified trainers certificate will look like this. And the students can get certified from Certiport. So this is the kind of certification you can get. App development with Swift level 1. So now you need a Mac if you want to develop apps on Apple devices. You need any Mac. So let me just introduce you quickly the technology what we use here. See, these are the devices. We have Mac Mini, we have MacBook Air, MacBook Pro, iMac. So these are the machines. If you have any machine, even if you have a 5-year-old Mac machine with you right now, you can start developing iOS applications. So some of the advantages: Mac supports teaching and learning all of the major programming languages and top mobile app development tools, making it an ideal device for learning computer science. You can even develop Android apps or even Visual Studio Code from Microsoft that is also available to run natively on a Mac. You can use it to learn Python, Java, HTML, or anything. It supports all these app development frameworks. Now, let me just go specific into this device, MacBook Air. My device I'm using now is an old machine that is powered by Intel processors. So now Apple has got introduced a new processor called the M1 chip. It's Apple Silicon. Majority of our devices are running M1 based processor. Some of them are Intel based is also available. So this MacBook Air is powered by M1 now. This is the computer students and teachers love to use. I would like to introduce a new MacBook Air with M1. So what is M1? This is a new technology. The new M1 chip is Apple's first chip designed specifically for the Mac. It delivers incredible performance, custom technologies, and revolutionary power efficiency. Our devices can give you up to 20 hours of battery backup. For example, this MacBook Air, which we are discussing, that can give you 18 hours of battery backup on a single charge because of the super power efficiency. And M1 features the world's fastest CPU core in low power silicon, the world's best CPU performance per watt, the world's fastest integrated graphics in a personal computer, and a breakthrough machine learning performance with the Apple's neural engine. This is truly a giant leap forward. M1 features an 8-core CPU, up to an 8-core GPU, and a 16-core neural engine, each with incredible leaps in performance over the previous generation of MacBooks. And it does this while delivering industry-leading power efficiency. So let us take a closer look. For example, on MacBook Air, this combination of technologies on the CPU delivers up to 3.5 times faster performance than previous generation, which means that you can export videos at unheard of speed. You can compile code way faster and add more audio tracks than ever before to music project. These are some of the examples. And graphics performance get a huge boost over the previous generation at up to 5 times faster, which means that M1 GPU can handle full quality, multi-stream, 4K video playback in real time. You can tackle massive image processing, manipulate 3D scenes with ease, and you can play games with fluid frame rates and higher fidelity than ever before. And the dedicated 16-core neural engine in M1 chip turns MacBook Air into a machine learning powerhouse. The neural engine can compute a staggering 11 trillion operations per second. In fact, ML performance is up to 9 times faster than the previous MacBook Air. So what are the benefits? Apps and features that use machine learning for tasks like image processing and video analysis now run faster and smarter than ever before. So now let me talk about the operating system. Our operating system is a Unix-based operating system. The latest version is called the macOS Big Sur. Here, Apple makes the hardware and the operating system. You will get a flawless integration. OS update is free. Even if you have a 5-year or even 7-year-old Mac, you can upgrade to the latest version of macOS Big Sur free of cost. So it is developed to unlock the potential of M1 chip, macOS Big Sur. macOS Big Sur transformed the Mac with major performance benefits and so much more. So let us see the application support. For customers with M1 Macs, macOS brings an incredible story around apps. First is universal apps. Universal apps can take full advantage of M1 with a single binary that contains Intel and M1 specific code. For existing apps that have not yet upgraded to Universal, Big Sur includes an amazing new technology called Rosetta 2 that seamlessly runs apps built for Intel-based Mac models. And because M1 shares a common architecture with A-series chips in iPhone and iPad, for the first time, Mac users can run their favorite iPhone and iPad apps directly on their Mac with the help of another technology called Mac Catalyst. That's really amazing. So this really opens up Mac to a wide number of education and business apps that were previously available only on iPhone and iPad. In fact, iPhone and iPad has got more than 10 lakhs of applications available in various categories in the App Store. You can check. Those apps also can run on a Mac with M1. So it's a huge benefit. So this is the most loved student laptop that can give you, 18 hours of battery backup, and it offers greater longevity and high residual value. It can work, it can be there with you for 7 or 8 years. That is a lifetime. That is the life of this MacBook Air. So, and finally, this device can give you access to the iPhone and iPad apps. I just showed you because just to show the benefits of this technology. So this is the technology benefits available in our product. This is, if you need this device and all, you can, our Apple education partner, Aegis Infotech, will help you to give you this machine at with affordability offers and all. With that, so I have done with my session. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, or you can even shoot a mail here. I'll try to answer it. So thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thanks a lot, sir, for sharing your knowledge with us. It was really a wonderful session. Now, may I request our chairperson, Dr. Rajiv Kumar Shukla, sir, to give concluding remark for the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Yeah. Afternoon. As session chair, Dr. Guru has written out in the plenary session that advances in ICT is driving the overall economy and initiating research and development initiatives in other areas as well. We have 3 resource persons in this plenary session. In first presentation, Mr. Dalip Singh has compared virtualization and containerization and exclusively shared importance, scope, and benefits of containerization over virtualization. And he linked it with Red Hat OpenShift container platform and also shared important features of OpenShift. Then the second speaker, Mr. Akhil Hada, presented on emerging trends in information and communication technology for facilitating digital transformation, which is this digital transformation is actually initiated and demanded by preparation, execution, and support system of experience economy. He also emphasized market trends, usage, scopes, and challenges of artificial intelligence, and shared about TCS Business 4.0 focused towards solving customer business problem. Finally, Mr. Shibu has shifted from experience economy to app economy. And in his presentation, and he discussed about techno-commercial views and applications of Swift programming language, coding, and Apple mobile app development with the help of selected videos. I think he has shown the video of SKF bearings and one of that language related to this Swift language. He also invited students to be part of app developer community, where there is great opportunities not only for job but also for startups. He also shared course curriculum and freely available resources for students and faculty. He also invited for one conference. I think that will be helpful for the students. So he's not only shared the information, but also the content, the resources, and that will be very useful for the students. So thank you. Thanks to all the resource persons and Dr. Anand Rajawat, Dr. Jigyasu Dubey for inviting for this plenary session, and Dr. Raksha Chauhan for this session too. Thank you. Over to you, Raksha Chauhan.
Thank you very much, sir. Gratitude and gratitude. I express my sincere thanks to Honorable VC Dr. Upinder Dhar sir, Chairperson of the AVDHARAN 2021 Dr. Anand Rajawat sir, Convener of the AVDHARAN 2021 Dr. Jigyasu Dubey sir, Co-Convener of AVDHARAN Dr. Abhishek Singh Rathod sir, and Mr. Vijay Prakash sir. I also express my sincere thanks to Mr. Dalip Singh Bass sir from Red Hat India for enlightening us with his valuable words. I also extend my gratitude to Mr. Akhil Hada sir from Global Lead MTech at Tata Consultancy Services Mumbai for his thought-provoking words. I am also grateful to Mr. Shibu MV, Techno-Commercial Manager from Reddington India Limited for sharing his valuable knowledge with us. My sincere thanks to our chairperson, Dr. K.N. Guruprasad sir and Dr. Rajiv Kumar Shukla sir for spending their valuable time with us. At last, thanks to everyone, all the delegates, participants, faculty members, technical team and students for their esteemed virtual presence with us. Have a great day ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rajiv sir. Thank you, Guruprasad ji.
Thank you, Dr. Jibas.
Thank you also our speakers, Akhil ji, Shivu ji, and Dalip ji. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a nice day.